Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. How are you, darlings? I have been very, very busy this morning, but very blessed to be here with you guys. Um, Roundtable 3 of looking into Revelation and different prophecies. And we have beautiful guests waiting to come in, so I'm going to push the magic button and get them in here. All right. Who are these guys? Hello. Look, you got a haircut.
I got them all
Looks
cut.
great. Do you feel better?
Much.
I bet.
Beautiful.
Dennis, your hair's still not braided, honey. What's going on?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's fierce, is what I could say. Fierce.
You can try the gin bun. That'd be good.
No, we can't.
Man bun bad.
No,
Bun
and bad.
bad.
Man bun bad. I think Arnaudia, I just got a text from her. She must be running late or busy or, oh, it's all right. Sound good.
Shock face.
I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody this morning. I've been a little busy helping out a client this morning. And
Well, you have
today-
a Roman or a Trojan on your shirt there, Dennis? Is that what that
You
is?
do.
Wow.
Not Roman, Greek.
Greek.
Greek. So how's the studying going, guys? Where are we at?
I
Friday
went a different path. I went to the bottomless pit, and the other one was Abaddon or Apollyon.
Apollyon.
Hmm. So
Okay.
I went down that road. It's not meant to be dark by any means, but I thought we should address it.
Okay. Sounds good. What you been doing, Dennis?
Now I find it interesting that, well, since I don't believe in coincidences,
No coinky dinkies.
that Trump is actually doing the work of the Trumps listed in Revelation.
Notice that, did you? I try not to draw myself towards that, but I do have to agree. And in addition to it, after going through Revelations, how can you not see the mirror image that's happening today in
Exactly.
Very much
society?
so.
I mean, it is. I mean, I know we look at things as metaphors, but I mean, how damn accurate can you get? You know.
Yeah. It's right in front of
Exactly
your
right.
face. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, well, I went down a different path too. I spent the week studying Native American prophecies
Mm.
and how they're tied in. And I, don't get me wrong, I love studying Revelation and the Bible, but I also have great respect for people that walk with the land and been around a whole lot longer. So I am going to touch on the Hopi prophecy. Now, there's multiples. I studied a little bit of the
Right.
Lakota as well,
Yeah.
but the Hopi is more detailed.
Yeah.
It is.
And
And if I may add to that,
Mhm.
a number of tribes were added to these Lakota, Hopi, etc.
Mhm.
Don't forget that with respect to the tribes that came within to their tribe, they
Mhm.
also honored their traditions and spoke those things orally also. So you
Very
get
much.
a little bit of both within either Lakota. I mean, you get several that we just don't know.
Yes, very much so. Well, one of the combining factors between Hopi and Lakota is that we are entering or we're in already the final phase.
Hmm.
Hopi has 9 steps to it. So, where do you want to start today? You want to focus on Apollyon? What do you want? You want me to do Hopi? How do you want to do?
However you guys want to do it. I mean, these things are just. Uh, they're brief to me, but they're open to conversation. But what I felt about going down this bottomless pit, this the bottomless pit also seems to go hand in hand where God would lock away most of the bad entities, bad angels, the whole bit.
Hmm.
Abaddon or Apollyon is, quote, the angel that is in charge of, for lack of a better term, this place. Some look
Right.
at it as hell, some look at it as just this place.
Hmm.
But they're created a specific function, even though we look at it as a darkness. Is it a fallen angel? There's stories out that are yes and no. However, I look at the ending. Most angels end with el,
Hmm.
Michael, but just like Sandalphon and Metatron, Abaddon, and the other name for him is Apollyon, also has an on. So, and you have to go to apocrypha books to get detail on this. But the only thing what I'll touch on here real quick is the bottomless pit. We look at it as bottomless. We assume bottomless, but yet most of our minds already go to, well, there's got to be a bottom.
Right.
And in the book of Revelations, these locust type creatures come out, and they, for a period of 5 months, they attack humans that are on the earth. Now they're a locust that's pretty much the size of a horse. They have the
Mm.
face of a human, the teeth of a lion, the hair of a woman, and they're not there to kill. And interestingly, is the life of a locust when they come out is 5 months also. So there's some similarities in that. But I was looking at this bottomless pit. They can be opened, but is that not just a portal? And it comes down. They come up from the bottomless pit. Is inner earth, Shambhala, or these places seem to be go hand in hand with each other, but yet it just seems to be a portal.
Mm.
Okay, we just had Lions Gate supposedly
Yes.
yesterday. I honestly I understand the astrology. Um, I have a hard. I was trying to look for the thing of how they named this, where they come up with this name and the whole bit. And I understand that it's about Leo and everything else. However, I thought there were some similarities in this. We're studying Revelation. Jesus first came to earth as a lamb. Now he's coming back as a lion. So I
Right.
found that interesting. And is this gate? Is this actually us entering into the end of days or end of time?
Mm.
Again, we have to look at both sides. We have to look top, bottom.
Right.
But I think there's some truth tied within it. But the other thing, now I understand people, oh, it's 8/8. Oh, we got to get together. We got to pray. Any day can be that. Any
Yeah.
day. I understand that people's intentions are good, but
Hmm.
the manifesting through those things are okay. Let's say 10 million people were there and praying and having a thing with the Lions Gate. They're manifesting. Most of them are manifesting 10 million things. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not gonna do anything. Now if we manifested on a single outcome, almost verbatimly in words, almost in prayer, yeah, I think you got something.
Yeah.
But to just randomly, like someone sent us in the chat today, someone manifested, they wrote themselves a check for 40 million. How'd that work out for you? Big zero,
Wow.
did let's see,
Good.
go ahead and cash that. Let's see
Yeah.
how that manifests. Thanks for coming, Nadia.
Well,
No
speaking
problem.
of 40 million,
I was on a different timeline, took a wrong bend,
Portal, I understand.
and I spilled my coffee on myself. So
well,
Sure
sorry.
did.
same.
Yeah, but in this time of the abyss that I was talking about, and this dark hole, we have to look at the seven seals. Which really people don't understand is they're actually woes.
Mm.
In other words, woe.
Yeah.
And the first four seals are four woes, but they're kind of looked at as almost one. They're not so bad. The fifth, sixth, and seventh seal. are the bad woes. And
Mm.
any time in the Bible that three woes are mentioned together, it's really bad. One woe is bad.
Yeah.
Two woe is really bad. Three woes is unimaginable horror, if as easy as you could say that. But if you're right in your center and right with God and everything, these things should not affect you.
Right.
Again, take the book for what it's worth. We're not here about religion. We're just having a conversation. That's
Exactly.
it. What we say isn't like, oh, the God's gospel truth. You know, pun intended. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, after my deep breath, could I add something to that? It's kind of like a little
No,
disclaimer.
could
Piggybacking
you
on
at least
Jay.
notice my hair, shoes, and
I,
nails?
I
Right?
noticed. Yeah, I was
You're
actually
wearing
braiding
shoes?
my.
Yeah, I always wear
Yeah, I got
shoes.
flip flops right now. Nice hair's cut, Jay. I was
Oh,
listening to you guys
thank
as
you.
I was coming home. Okay, my disclaimer. I was trying to cram a little more information in this morning um, for what we are talking about today's topic. And I was divinely led to a video on YouTube that was done 3 years ago. So I was taking, like you guys went different paths. I was studying the Islamic version of Gog and Magog.
Mhm.
And what I found out was basically relating to what's happening now in our communities is Gog and Magog. In Arabic, it's Juj and Majuj.
Bless
And
you.
you get to choose and my choose, yes.
Mhm.
And I had a scholar who broke it down and helped me understand it. Now that resonated with me. I used my discernment and it resonated with me.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, the thing that I was led to this morning was another scholar who said, "I just received this from somebody," and this is really good quote. These are quotes. This is exactly, and I can also put this a video as a reference if somebody wants to make sure. He's a scholar, and he's debunking the other scholar because the other scholar went to Yale and is of the darkness, is of um,
Was
like
contaminated by the Westerners.
contaminated actually by China. And they said, you guys, it's wrong to interpret. Nobody should ask questions. Follow what the Quran is saying or the Bible is saying. You're anti if you're asking questions. And so he said, you want to watch it? You want to watch him? Go ahead and watch him. However, I'm warning you, stay away from him. Flee from him as fast as you can, like he's a lion behind you. Well, we're just asking questions. We're breaking this stuff down, and it's up to each and every one of us to use discernment, whether it resonates or doesn't resonate. And it also depends on what level you're at. Maybe you are at a lower level that's still in the 3D and understands I have to believe this. Maybe you're in a higher level and breaking away religion and learning faith or spirituality. So it depends on each and every one of you. And that's why we're not pushing any of this on anybody.
Right.
So I just
As
wanted to give it clarity.
Yeah.
And
It's a conversation,
yeah.
but that also mimics today, just like going through Revelations, how we can see a whole lot of synchronicities in what's going on with the world within Revelations, just like within, like when we hear things about people talking about Bibles or even truthers, when you're saying don't listen to them, listen to me, where are we at here? We really need our own discernment. And to add to that, if you look at any of the times that Jesus is quoted or Yeshua in the Bible, he always answers in parables. Only 3 or 4 instances did he give a straight answer. Otherwise, every answer was a parable to make you think. Take that to heart. Take that to heart.
Which just led people down to ask questions. That's the point.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we
But
have
both of these
we have to remember and respect people's free will to choose their own path and their own timing and what sits right with them.
Right.
That's their right.
And just
So
like
Yeah,
all of
and
us here, are we totally different from 3 months ago? Aren't we, almost 360 degrees from where we were 6 months ago? And
yeah.
just, I
oh
mean,
my
that's
God.
just it. We can change our opinions. Yeah. What do you, did you,
We can change our
am I
looks.
going?
Well, we women love to change our minds and opinions all the time.
But yeah, we've changed opinions, we've changed beliefs, we've changed friends, we've changed.
Mm.
I mean, a lot of things is when you use your own discernment, you know what is right for you without anybody else telling you what to do. But I just want to make a point that this little battle between the two scholars is 3 years ago, and we're still going through that.
Right. And just you four have helped. I mean, even with people that have come in and out of my life, it's also, it's not just changed my perspective, but my perception through discernment. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what people have to understand. I mean, we're here trying to make you think, have a conversation,
Yeah.
but we're doing it with subjects,
Yeah.
and take it for what it's worth, take what resonates, keep it deep inside, the rest push aside. It's all good.
I think it's our growth process. We have to grow, and we can't grow if we don't put some work in and just ask questions and study and look at new things maybe we would have not looked at a few years ago.
Mhm.
So
And I give a lot of people a lot of credit for admitting that, hey, I have changed. I mean, I saw, I briefly, I think there's two comments in the chat there. Like, I feel different, and
yeah,
as though you should. I mean, that's, sometimes we have to ask our own self hard questions, but like, to know yourself, know thyself.
Know thyself.
Yeah, I'm. Many things have changed in these last several months, and going down these different roundtables. I mean, the Dome of the Rock, one was just, it truly was a journey for us. The Revelations is a whole nother journey. I can't wait to see where we go next. Honestly, I'm so excited. We could spend a lot of time on Revelations alone.
oh yeah,
Literally. Yeah,
absolutely.
and we're 3 shows already, and there's probably 8 more out there.
Oh,
I
of
mean,
course.
easy. But what I'm saying is, when we decided to pick a topic, it's kind of spirit led. Even
Yes.
Jen asked for your input. What would you like to hear? What would you like to talk about? Again, that's just it. We're just trying to make conversation. But anyway, I'm done.
Well, we've also learned how to yell at our ego a little bit and say, you need to be quiet, and realize that we have to step outside of that and say, you're taking a back seat right now. We're being more open. So I certainly have. So it's a personal journey.
And
You're
also, go ahead, Dennis.
Starting to learn more about yourself and bringing in a little bit more power that you didn't realize that you had before
Yes.
is also something worthwhile.
Also, how many people, like you talk to people and they said, I felt something funny when I was younger, and now I'm starting to come into
Yes.
what my real feelings were.
Right. The understanding of those things. Yeah. Exactly.
It was the fear of being chastised or or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then most of the people that have had gifts, honestly, we had to choke it down. Don't act weird. Don't do that.
Don't act weird.
Yeah. I heard don't act weird multiple times. Shocking, I know. But
And now
we're
we're the poster children. Don't be weird.
Don't be weird. No, mine was, you're going to hell.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Love you. Night night.
Mine was stay away from the new age.
I want you on our team. That's what they used to say.
You're going to hell. Night night. Love you.
Peace and love.
Sweet dreams.
Okay, let's go on.
All right.
I just figured we should.
Your turn, Jen, I believe.
Yeah, Jen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to turn on the lights.
Well, I know we're studying Revelation from all different angles, but like I said, I wanted to go Native American. So I want to touch a little bit based on the Hopi prophecy, and I've got it pulled up here. It's a whole lot, but the interpretations, if it doesn't set right, obviously you can go a different direction. But the Hopis believe in what they call the blue star or the blue Kachina prophecy,
Mhm.
and that there are 9 steps to this, and 8 have been completed. So,
Jen,
I'm,
do you
yeah,
remember how long those 8 steps took? You just sparked my. I'm just curious. It's probably an insignificant fact, but those 8 steps have taken from their dawn of time.
basically, these are signs that would lead up to the end time. I
Okay,
would say
okay,
the last 100 years,
okay. So
really.
these are the shorter term ones. Okay, okay.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
isn't like thousands of years old that I know of. They said, see, watch for these signs, and when they happen, look for the blue Kachina star. So, and once that happens, bye bye. But it welcomes in what they call the fifth world. So I will just start simply, and you stop me at any time. I'm just going to read it because I don't want to get it wrong. It says an ancient Hopi Indian prophecy states when the blue star Kachina makes its appearance in the heavens, the fifth world will emerge. This will be the day of purification. The Hopi name for the blue Sirius is blue star Kachina. So that's what they call that star. It will come when the blue star Kachina dances in the plaza and removes his mask. Now, that probably sounds like a very big parable. What does that mean? So it speaks of the first sign. We were told of the coming of the white skinned men, like Pahana, but not living like Pahana. Men who took the land that was not theirs and who struck their enemies with thunder. So basically, when the Europeans came over to this land, into North America, and struck the land with thunder is supposed to be a representation of guns,
Right.
modern warfare.
Rifles.
Yes. So that one you can check off.
Schneider agrees.
The second sign is our lands will see the coming of spinning wheels filled with voices.
Wagon trains.
Yeah, it's supposed to be covered wagons. So the third sign, a strange beast like a buffalo, but with great long horns, will overrun the land in large numbers. So basically, when they brought over the longhorn cattle and they started ranching, so
Right.
that would check that off. The fourth sign, the land will be crossed by snakes of iron, railroads.
Yep.
Okay. This is the fifth sign. The land shall be crisscrossed by a giant spider's web. Power lines and telephone lines.
Right.
Okay.
Or the internet web.
Well,
Well, yeah, because they're not physical.
yeah. This is the sixth sign. The land shall be crisscrossed with rivers of stone that make pictures in the sun. That one's a little tricky, but it's basically our paved roads and highways.
Oh, yeah.
When the
Yeah.
sun
The
hits
mirage.
them, it causes this mirage look from a distance.
Yeah.
That would explain that one.
Yep.
The seventh sign, you will hear of the sea turning black and many living things dying because of it.
Oil
Oil
spills.
Spills, yeah.
Okay. The eighth sign, you will see many youth who wear their hair long like our people. Come
There's
and join. Yeah, Dennis, basically.
Hippies. Us hippies.
They come and join the tribal nations to learn our ways and wisdom. This is supposed to be the time of the hippies.
Yep.
Peace, love, hope, but they wore long
Yeah.
hair and exactly.
And then the CIA brought in their little
Bell bottoms.
So that's the
three
first
letter
platform shoes, the whole
drugs.
shebang.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so you could check off all 8 of those. There's only 9. The ninth sign and the last sign, it says, you will hear of a dwelling place in the heavens above the earth that shall fall with a great crash. It will appear as a blue star. Very soon after this, the ceremonies of the Hopi people will cease. Okay. Now there's one little section on here they finished up with it, and then we can pull cards and we'll just discuss it. It says, these are the signs that great destruction is here. The world shall rock to and fro, which is also written in the Bible as well. The white man will battle people in other lands. Well, I've already done that. Those who possess the first light of wisdom. That's something to look into because I haven't figured that one out yet. There will be many columns of smoke and fire, such as the white man has made in the deserts not far from here. So I always thought in the Middle East when they did burn the oil fields, that's it. We've already done that.
Actually, Jen, right
Mhm.
now they are burning, I think it's 40,000 tires, car tires in the desert.
Wow.
Could you start that last one after the blue star? There was something about people coming to know our ways right after that. It blocked out me.
So we did the oil spills. What's the seventh sign? The eighth sign. The youth coming with their long hair.
Yeah.
To share
Yeah,
with
after
the
that.
After that, the ninth and last sign, you'll hear of a dwelling place in the heavens,
Okay, keep
above
going
the
with
earth,
that.
okay, that shall fall with a great crash. It will appear as a blue star. Very soon after this, the ceremonies of the Hopi people will cease.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the signs that great destruction is here. The world shall rock to and fro. The
Good.
white man will battle people in other lands.
Mm-hmm.
Those who possess the first light of wisdom.
That's it.
There will be many columns of smoke and fire, such as the white man has made in the deserts not far from here.
Okay,
And
the first lights of wisdom. That's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah, the first light of wisdom. So if they talk about other lands, the people that possess the first light of wisdom, would that be talking about Arab nations and the Jewish community? I'm just curious because first light of wisdom could be Muslim faith. It could be the Jewish faith.
Could it be the Abrahamic Accord?
Could
Yeah.
it just be
So
people that are into spirituality and won't be led
Yeah.
by governments any longer? Government is their religion.
It could also be the Buddhist and finding enlightenment. You can look at it in many different ways, but we can pull cards and we'll get into it. But
Hey.
this says, yeah.
Get out of there.
Okay.
Dog.
Sorry.
Mute, Jay.
It's live. Hold on
Okay.
a second. At least you didn't hear yell upstairs about killing the other dogs. That was good. Hold on.
Oh, no. All right. It says, those who stay and live in the places of the Hopi shall be safe. Then there will be much to rebuild. And soon, very soon afterward, Pahana will return. He shall bring with him the dawn of the fifth world. He shall plant the seeds of his wisdom in our hearts. Even now the seeds are being planted. These shall smooth the way to the emergence into the fifth world. So is that ascension? And who is Pahana? Are they talking about Yeshua?
Did they say when Pahana returns, or when Pahana comes?
It says there will be much to rebuild. Soon, very afterward, Pahana will return, and shall bring with him the dawn of the fifth world.
Okay, I just asked if he's part of the ant people, and I got a yes.
Is he part of the what? What was that, Jay?
The ant people.
Ant.
Like, for instance, the Hopi were taken underground.
Yeah, exactly. In the Grand
So,
Canyon.
I mean, maybe see what you get with that. And the only other thing I wanted to comment on with the about the seas will turn black. I do remember, like, some of the prophecies and these things, like they would describe things black and red were similar. Gray, black could mean slow death. That could mean the overfishing of the seas, or definitely, but it's a slow death in many instances too. So many ways to take that. Dennis, did you try your pendulum on that?
I tried the pendulum on who could if Kahana was Yeshua,
Okay.
and it was a
I
yes.
asked I asked if it was like it was technically the ant people. I mean, you can put them in any form you want to.
Oh yeah, he's a shapeshifter.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, they
Who's
call
that?
they're the creator, the great spirit in the sky. So
Right.
Could we see, Jen, could you pull cards on looking at who are those that possess the first lights? Could you pull cards
yeah,
and see what you get on that? And
Oh,
that was the
First,
first lights of enlightenment, if I'm not
wisdom.
mistaken. Wisdom.
so, yeah, I was also thinking the fifth world is going up to the fifth density.
right.
I got that
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
See, look at that. Four discernments in a row. Like that. Fifth density. Joker.
Yes.
And a quadruple.
You know,
Why so
you know that
serious,
they had
Jay?
a
Mm-hmm.
Call me Shirley. It's okay.
Why so
the
serious?
Hopi. I don't know why this was tied in there because it wasn't part of the signs, but it was a prophecy that the Hopi predicted. It said Hopi prophecy speaks of twin Kachinas, white and blue. It meant twin, merging of self, twin pyramids, and also the DNA will change. But this can represent the twin towers falling down. It was fascinating. I don't know why that was thrown into the studies, but it kept popping up.
And the twin, also the two worlds, just in a different format.
White. I must have come from a
Okay,
different
let's.
timeline.
Can I throw this one in? Can I throw this one in the game? Sorry,
Yeah,
Dennis.
red
Go
and
ahead,
blue.
Dennis.
It's all right.
Red and blue. Could
Yeah.
it be also mean the two witnesses?
Interesting.
There you go.
Good possibility.
Damn you for that. I'm going to be stuck on that now.
Sorry.
Wow. First light of wisdom. The first card I pulled was the Offworlders.
People, excuse me.
Well,
I'm getting a yes on the two witnesses
let's see. Is this the
on the
ant
Kachinas.
people? Is this the ant people? Ace of Swords. They hold wisdom and truth. That's a sword, and that's an ace. It says that confirmed.
I'll confirm that one. Hold on.
Guess I'm gonna have to do some more homework on the ant people.
Yep.
They're related to the uncles.
I'll
Sorry,
be
Doug.
doing some homework on
Donna
the
came
praying
down to give me
mantis
kisses
people.
goodbye.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of the mantis too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if they were removed. Well, obviously they were removed, but for what reason?
I'll be right back.
I kept asking about the ant people, and this is being left out. Time to leave. After a great battle, that will return. Now, this card is in reverse, so it means their chains will be broken and they'll be able to come back. It's the devil card in reverse. So positive card. So breaking out of being stuck, whether that's in a different density or Shambhala, that they will return. Wow. So the mantis, interesting. Ant people. Well, I guess they could have multiple names, but that was a yes of the people that were the first light of wisdom.
Okay. I got a yes on the two witnesses thing. But Jen, when you were saying about how the many how they come back,
Yes.
when you said that, it felt like many. Can you confirm that? Like maybe a card pool? I don't know what you felt on that, but when you said that, it just felt like many. It wasn't like they come back. It was like many come back.
See that? Okay. when you said that, for me, it was the wall going down, and it's the Gog Magog
Okay.
coming. And you
Okay.
said the upside down breaking of the chains. That's
Yeah.
when they are to come out.
Right. The walls break down too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Did we lose Dennis, or he took a?
He said he'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah. That's an Ace of Pentacles. Yes. Many. Seven of
Okay.
Cups. Many different
Wonder why.
species, I believe. I think there's multiple. The DNA made
Okay.
using ant people, mantis, but off-worlders, many types. Yes.
Revelation says Jesus comes back with 200 million of his angels. Talk about many. You know, I think there's all kind of similarities within the religions. You know, or the faith. We can't ignore those.
Which that gives me a question. The people who are passing or have passed,
Mm.
now, do they rise and become part of the soldiers, or are they also judgmented, going through judgment, or were they reincarnated?
One of the things I've been trying to figure out is when the scriptures say the dead in Christ shall rise first.
Yes.
Everybody keeps thinking that maybe the graveyards will all bust open and they all come out. I think maybe it's a mental or spiritual. If you don't know who Yeshua truly is, maybe it's a spiritual thing. If you're dead in him, or the great awakening, like you wake up, it's just, I don't know. There's something about it that seems spiritual to me, not the physical graves opening.
And if I'm not mistaken, in some of the translations, that saying "the dead in Christ" also is translated as "the asleep in
The asleep.
Christ."
Yes.
Yeah. So there's two translations there. Asleep would be okay. Like even certain people, they used to refer to dead people as asleep, or at least the same name, and asleep became
Well, we could
synonymous.
say sleeples instead of.
Sleeples. I like it. I like.
Well,
There's the church is a steeple.
we keep being told this is our great awakening. I think it's our great reawakening. But but if we're waking out of that slumber and sleep, if we do it first to set an example and help lead others spiritually of how to ascend, is that what it's referring to?
Let's just take a look at sleep. Okay, dream world. This body, the veil. Are these things lifted? I mean, you got to start really thinking outside the box and going, okay, could this be this? Could this be this? Could this be this? But those all make sense. Dennis, you got a thought on that?
I have no thoughts.
Good for you. Congratulations.
No, he's still
Any of
sleeping.
your thoughts?
I'm asleep.
So
His hat's on too tight.
so basically, the dead are actually the people who have not reached enlightenment. They're not literally talking about the ones in the graves.
Let me confirm it.
Exactly. I just couldn't figure out why all these
I got
graves, these graveyards.
I got a
bust
strong yes
open.
on that right away.
Okay,
Boom.
Okay.
Yes. That quick.
perfect.
Dennis?
Yes.
Is that the pendulum saying it, or you?
That was me. No, I was trying to do something on my computer, but it's acting really slow.
It's tired. It's asleep. Okay.
We're usually so in sync.
I know. It's just way out of sync now.
You know what? Maybe because your hair is back. You know, it's not flowing over,
Well, no, it was
draping over
doing
your
that when it was
shoulders.
up front too. You know.
I believe it's the hat disconnecting the spiritual cord.
There you go. Okay.
His crown chakra is covered up. All right.
There you go.
Air it out, Dennis.
So,
Well, it depends on.
I still can't wear a hat. I still can't wear a hat. I can cut my
Really?
hair. I still can't wear a hat.
does a bonnet count? Can you wear a bonnet?
Anything on my head. Can't do it.
You should grow your hair out and just put it in a man bun.
There you go.
Man bun's bad. Yeah.
So
You know what man bun backwards spells?
Nub.
No, but
No.
neither do I. But it's really not good.
Nub num.
It's a nub.
Okay, this says after we talked about figuring out who the first light of wisdom was.
Yeah.
The next part says there will be many columns of smoke and fire, such as the white man has made. It says such as the white man has made.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not far from there in the deserts. Now the Hopi was very strong area around Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, four corners.
Yeah. I wonder what they're talking about, columns of smoke.
There's also, I believe, there's a forest fire getting closer to Joshua Tree, California.
Really?
Well, we have to wait for something else to explode, like a chemical plant, before the Canadian fires and California fires reach us. Smoke could be bad today.
Yeah, says the person who really doesn't listen to the news. I don't know where this information is coming from.
No, I catch these things.
But I've heard there was a fire coming from, and they're trying to prevent it from going to Joshua Tree.
Okay.
Well, when they talk about
I have Abaddon. Is Abaddon or Jesus in the Bible, is that representative of the buffalo that storms across the plain?
The plains?
Yeah.
We can ask.
Abaddon?
Abaddon. Like, in other words, okay, we're just trying to pick out the similarities in the story. We look at Yeshua, we look at Abaddon. Okay, they're coming. The buffalo, not the white one, I'm sorry, but the buffalo that's going to, I guess it was trample across the nation or something like that, or storm across the nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is that symbolic of the 200,000 coming, of this great fight, or supposed fight, or perceived fight that we're looking at? Just ask that. Okay.
That's funny that something's crossing my mind, like not the elephant and not the donkey, but a buffalo. It's going, a division. A great buffalo.
I see what you're saying.
Maybe a restoration of the Indian tribes.
It could even be like the Leviathan in Revelation. Same thing.
I'm getting Nasara.
It's funny. You're all right. So let's put it together.
Of course we all.
Yeah.
You're all right.
I mean,
now, that's not a little advice, though. Okay, because I think there's more to it. I pulled 3 major arcanas right off the bat.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can even see you.
The screen didn't go black; it went white. You're coming back in.
I've seen the light. Okay. All right. Start out. I asked if it could be the buffalo. I pulled the death card, bringing great change. Something that has died off, but coming back, bringing great change. Now the next one, Dennis, you mentioned Nasara. This is the Wheel of Fortune. Things that have died and changed will reverse and come back in great abundance. So you could look at buffalo
also. Okay.
As well, you could look at buffalo as money too, when they call that buffalo coins and stuff like that. I think
the nickel was buffalo. The nickel was a buffalo.
Yeah.
Don't pick up the buffalo chips.
Well, you can if they're dried out. They make
it as fire.
That's fuel. What are you talking about? All right.
Warm buffalo chips.
A third major arcana is the devil card. Once again, that is well aspected. So it's breaking free and you're no longer caged. No longer a slave. Well, isn't that what they're working on now?
Yep.
Now, it has great advice, though. When the Knight of Cups comes in here, he's about treading lightly and using, like, guarding your emotions.
Yep.
And we talk a lot about this when we be careful and use your discernment of who you're listening to, what you're taking in, and trying to get knowledge. This is why we have these conversations. We don't get entrapped and told again, you have to believe this, you have to believe that. So keep your mind open. But yes.
So I'm wondering if that's the symbolism of those who possess the first lights of wisdom, what you're just talking about. They're going to go through these tough times, but come out of it with the great lights of wisdom.
Okay. All right. So coming from a different density. So off-worlder, but coming from a different density. It's like going parallel. So if you're talking about the ant people, the mantis, off-worlders, whatever you want to call them, to shine their light, that's the sun card, but this is a cosmic card as well, so it still sticks with that. To change things, the tower card is about changing great aspects of things. So, and that can also come with getting over the chaos and destruction of something to bring in great change, to reverse it, because that's under the wheel of fortune.
Right.
Hmm.
At one point I went to Genesis with all of this. I don't know why. Like I was trying to see, okay, if the story is written from the end to the beginning, as it's been said, I went to the beginning in Genesis. One of the things I found out, okay, on the first day, again, 1,000 years, okay. But anyway, I think it was the fourth or fifth day, where talked about God created the whale and the animals of the sea, the fowl and for the air, the cattle. What caught me, what really stuck out at me at that point was, if Adam named all of the animals, okay, a whale was very specific. I never picked up on that until that day when I was looking at this. So God mentions a whale. It's pretty specific. There's only a few whales, if you will. But yet cattle, that can be anything. That could be beef, that could be sheep, that could be whatever. Fowl, again, that could be anything. Whale was very specific. And if I'm not mistaken, whale, it can be a totem animal or a totem. You know what I'm talking about.
Supposed to represent the Akashic records.
Right.
To hold great wisdom.
Right. And in certain religions, the whale, the world is held on the back of a whale. But again, that somehow ties in with this Hopi. I don't know how. But they were pushing me to bring it up.
Well, if the whales hold the Akashic record of Earth, I wonder if it holds all the records of how many times we went through this.
The cycling process.
Yeah.
Like when Garden of Eden was first created or second created. So can we pull on that?
Genesis, go forth and repopulate the earth, not populate, repopulate. And there is Shields from Shields and Yarnell.
Dennis said, reel it in.
Pulling it, pull it.
I mean, right now we're also looking at signs, and wasn't it Avatar 2 that brought up the whales, coming back to the whales?
Oh, we were talking naughty. Remember Star Trek, the humpbacks?
Yes.
This and you told me, that's the second Avatar movie. Yeah, that was pretty cool tie-in.
Yeah, and also an old Star Trek, Captain Kirk and Spock had to go back to Earth. Yeah, peace. Had to go back to Earth to get records. And what did they carry? The killer whale.
Right. No, it was the.
Was it the blue whale? Humpback?
No, humpback.
I thought it was.
And the whale face down in the water. I think it was humpback whale.
Oh, now I'm going to have to look it up. Let's see.
But
it was a whale that they brought.
Yes.
The humpback will help you learn how to spell Mississippi.
Yeah. And but through that, Jen, like you were saying, I it was something to do with the Hopi had something in there with the whale. I wish I could remember it. I'm sorry.
What? I keep pulling the same cards, but they're in different orders, and I shuffle and shuffle and shuffle. So Spirit wants me to stick with the cards. Okay. So when it comes to the whale, this is about abundance of knowledge. What is this? What are you trying to tell me?
Oh, okay. All right.
Of everything? I hold the knowledge. Yeah. So Nadia, going back to how many cycles, if they hold all of that information, absolutely. Because the Garden of Eden card, the Lover's card comes in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Garden of Eden card. So since the beginning of time, they do hold that much. Because the Wheel of Fortune is in here again.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it looks like a clock. I mean, it's constantly, everything constantly rotates and turns and reverses itself. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. All right.
And it's amazing with that, with the Adam and Eve card, is I consider the Lover's card. This guy sits right beside of it. So when all that happened, that wasn't the first time. The death to man and when the chaos, that's when they really start to hold that the Akashic records of the cycles. Let me see if I can
Okay.
find out how many cycles. 'Cause
Well,
it
let
may
me
not tell me.
just add this. This is kind of interesting.
Mhm.
They were humpback whales in the Star Trek voyage, and the names are George and Gracie.
Nice.
George and Gracie.
George
Aren't
Burns
they?
and Gracie. What was her name?
Oh, Gracie
Oh
Allen?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're named after. George and Gracie.
Wow. I was thinking
Burns.
of the kids of King Prince. What's his name? See, I'm not so I forget everybody's name, but isn't it
Prince
Prince
William.
George and
I'm
Grace?
I'm Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
They have one of them's Charlotte, so I don't
Oh,
know.
Charlotte, not Grace. Okay, I'm wrong. Sorry.
Yeah.
George and Gracie. Wow. The Allens. Well, he was God. George
Well, that's
Allen?
true. Yeah.
George
George
Burns.
Burns. George Burns.
George
George
Burns.
Burns.
George
Yeah.
Burns played God.
Gracie
Yeah.
He
Burns.
played God.
Together we have a full mind. We'll get that definitions, those names down.
It only takes four of us to put it together, but we will.
Yeah, when you were doing that, I did my rods and I had a real quick thing, how it tied in your the blue whales, the knowledge, the rain, the enlightenment, the wisdom. They're all correct. It's all the religions are all touching it. And like you're saying, the reset, we're coming up on this millennial reign, and that's where those who possess the first lights of wisdom come. During that time, it's the same thing, just different language, different perspective. Christianity, Native American, Buddhism, Islam. It's all the same. It's just,
Yeah.
but the whale almost seems to be a universal figure of
Well,
this.
it is.
Yeah,
I
symbol.
pulled one final card on how much the whales hold. I pulled the 10 of Pentacles. That is a treasure chest of the universe and being
Okay.
abundance and wisdom and knowledge. So I think it goes way beyond just the life cycles that we've been doing.
Oh, and yeah, DHP mentioned something the other day in Dennis's chat. We were talking. I had brought up the whale once to him, and he's been decoding it. And one of the unique things that he told me, which really is resonating right now, is just kind of like in the Jewish language, letters are numbers, but in language, sometimes the letters are actual. It's a full sentence. In other words, each letter means something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that just kind of resonated and hit home today there. It's kind of unique perspective. It's pretty good. It's resonating though.
Speaking of the four minds getting together, it takes a village, what Peg wrote. But I believe this is proof that we are all one.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, well, if we're all fractals, it takes all of us to get us together and put the pieces together. We're a jigsaw puzzle, basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. So that was the Hopi stuff. Is there anything else we want to pull on that or compare to what you guys have been studying?
Let's go down Dennis's road here.
You can come and say
Well,
bye.
mine was kind of short. It was
That's okay.
how we moved from woes into
So sweet.
judgment.
Let's hit the judgment there, because I touched on the woes also. Let's hit the judgment. I mean, just because there is an outcome, whether it's millennial reign, whatever, but the judgments also lead up to. So why don't we hit that a little bit?
Okay, what part of judgment are we talking about? Because
The trumpets.
The trumpets.
oh,
You are so judgmental, Nadia.
Yes.
I judge you and you and you.
Oh, really?
Well, I had some judgment questions on
Okay.
Ezekiel, but
Let's let Dennis do a little thing there about the judgments, and then
Yeah.
Well, the seventh seal, the trumpet call to wake up. And where it says the seven angels stand before God, and the seven trumpets were given to them.
Mm-hmm.
And one angel came and stood at the altar holding a golden censer, and I think of the incense that he had lit was the smoke was going up to the throne, but then ended up throwing that I think that was the first judgment, where it was throwing the censer down to the earth. I was curious as to what that represented.
could you pull on that, Jen?
I can pull. Yeah. What does it represent?
I'm curious. Checking something real quick.
Particularly, what does the incense represent?
Okay.
I wonder if incense is not a good thing.
Isn't that what Catholics use in the church when they swing that thingy?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's the prayers of the saints. I don't know. But why would it be flung to the earth?
Poop thrower.
Okay, could incense also, if you're saying fire, be brimstone?
Ooh, I like it.
Could be, yeah. Excuse me.
You know, any other time I'll get a straight answer.
Okay. Judgment, war. Is this also going to be? Remember when we studied Sodom and Gomorrah?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's about judgment. Okay, so we start. King of Swords represents. He's a great warrior leader to bring truth and balance and justice. Because I asked for who, and Mother Gaia's in here. What is this about? Because that's the World card and the Empress card. Judging the world, judging. Because I just got Sodom and Gomorrah in my head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The brimstone, yeah.
I think that's the first trumpet, and that was hail and fire mixed with blood.
Let's see. Wow. Well, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but
I wonder if you could, since Sodom and Gomorrah was a long time ago, before weapons of war, other than swords, I meant like guns and chemical warfare, that kind of stuff. I'm wondering if this is modern day battle, that's how it takes shape.
yeah, but you understand that Maybe there were guns back then, but we're not getting.
We don't know. I mean, we don't.
Cannons for sure.
Okay.
They had cannons for sure.
How about also another one being Pompeii? Wasn't a volcano fire? Blood, like you said, Dennis?
Yeah.
I think we're kind of missing with the judgments. Dennis is what I was kind of going with here. There's kind of an elephant in the room that we're touching, but we're not pulling out. Okay, 7 is mentioned in the Bible. It's the most mentioned number in the Bible. It's also Revelations is also the most density of 7s within the Bible. In other words, here there are 57 sevens and 5 sevenths and 35 phrases of 7s in the book of Revelations. That's a lot.
I seventh that.
I sixth it. But
Okay.
what I'm getting at, I think it even though it's a perfect number, one of these things, they're drawing me to that's something to do with the judgment, like you were talking about, Dennis. Not just the outcome, not just it's something to do with the judgment. Not like 7 seals, 7 judgments, there are 7 trumpets, 7 judgment. It's something to do with 7 and judgment. Maybe
7 years.
I don't know. Maybe the 55 sevens, 5 sevenths. Is the 5 significant? Is that what you're trying to show me?
That's amazing.
The times of the 7s.
Just last night, Jen, you remember I saw the license plate 57?
Yes. 5 and 7. Yeah.
So there's got to be 5 and 7.
5 and 7 is 12, divisible evenly by 3.
It's just I keep going back to Mother Gaia, the mistreatment of her and judgment. I just keep getting that.
Jen, what would a 5 mean in? Well, I'm just gonna say swords. Okay, because I just asked, and they're keying on me. Like, even though there's 7s, they're saying it's the times, the 5. So what would like a 5 of swords mean? What would that mean?
Strategy.
So there is a strategy maybe within this judgment or something like that.
It's also change. 5 is change. So are we changing timelines? Are we changing?
They're saying keep going, keep going.
Are we changing our strategy of how we approach Revelation?
Could you just do a clean pull on that, maybe?
Sure.
The 5s of it seems like the times, which is 55 7, 5 sevenths, 35 5 times 7 phrases.
Are we saying 757, or are we saying?
Well, 5's a number of grace in many cases, but like they're telling me it's something to do with the times of the 5s for the judgments in Revelations.
But are you using 757 or just 57?
The 5. The 5 is even though 7s are mentioned more, they're okay. Let me just put it this way: if 5 is graces, they're talking about the graces within the judgment.
Well, if you want,
what are you laughing at? What are you laughing at, Jen?
She's pulling. But 5 is change, and 7 is divine.
Coinky dinks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I pulled 4 cards and I said, "What are you telling me? They're all 5s and 7s."
Seriously.
Oh, no.
Damn. Wow.
5 of Cups is about great loss.
Oh yeah.
That being emotionally wrecked at that point, depressed. Wow. And they said, no. Yeah, I know. I saw it. I can't count. All right. The 7 of Wands, standing up for your passion and desires, holding your ground, what you believe in, being determined. Having your faith, that's a number 5.
Wow.
You stand on and support your faith.
Mm-hmm.
The final card, I thought I looked too fast. I thought it was 7, but it's not. It's an 8, which is also still good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the strength card.
I love it. Okay. It's beautiful.
It
Yeah,
is.
I mean, I don't look at Revelations as scary. It's a map. But
Mm.
maybe that's just its strength and faith and everything. If you went from backwards from the strength and moved up, uh, having all of those and then coming down the same way in the strength of the final card,
If you
just like
think of
going
the
forward and backwards.
If you think about the order of these cards and how they popped up, it is a prime example of what we have just been doing.
Mm-hmm.
We start out here, just, I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. It's an emotional wreck on your spiritual life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start standing up for yourself. And, because I'm passionate and I have a lot of desire to understand my own faith and inner spiritual path, which leads to strengthening you. So it's basically what we've been doing.
Yeah, and we're not trying to make the book scary. We're just trying to understand it.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
also a strategy of being prepared. I mean,
yeah,
we are going through this journey. So if you are standing up for your faith,
hmm
for your
Yes.
spirituality, then you have strength.
right. I mean the locust, the horse locust things. That's pretty scary shit. And I'll be honest with you. That's like
Well,
out of the bottomless pit. We didn't even get into the portal portion of that. But
well, it leads to that question about using symbols. Is it
oh,
that is a
wait, I just
physical
remembered 5
thing
months they do this for. Another 5
for
for
5
5 months.
months
Okay.
to sting mankind and they'll wish that they could die but
Right.
can't die? So but is it when they describe this thing, is this really what it looks like, or is it
Right.
symbolic to something?
Right.
Well, I
Because
mean,
I've also heard that this could represent a modern day warfare
Drone, helicopter,
helicopter
yeah,
and things
drone.
like that.
well, I mean, just, wasn't it the last show we had? I told you about the combination of the monkey face and the chicken body. I mean,
Yes.
first thing that I said was, "What the?" It's just like seeing the
No.
horse with the face. I mean, maybe it's getting us prepared to not have fear.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
even if we're not here, we see it.
All right. Dennis, what's next, darling?
Where'd we leave off?
Well, how about if we talk about the trumpet blowing? Let's say it like that. I don't want to say a blow.
Well, which one?
Well, it just said over here in the Quran that when the trumpets will blow, the wall will come down, earthquake, judgment day, and that's when people will be in a drunken state of not knowing what's going on. Now, um, one of the scholars breakdown, and I'm trying to relate it to the now because a lot of the stuff was written so far back that we didn't have the technology that we do have now. Could the trumpet be the EMS or the 5G? And could the people be in a drunken state because they are now going to be like zombified?
And the wall itself could be the veil coming down.
The veil of who was not affected by
Everything that
the mandate.
was hidden before, that is to be made manifest, that has been behind the veil. Now the veil
Will
comes
be
down, and
exposed.
everything that's been hidden will be shown.
So could that been prevented so we don't? Like, say, for example, could Gog Magog be the trumpet sounding of the 5G or the EMS triggering maybe little chips, causing them to be in a drunken state or zombied?
I got a straight yes. Like
Okay.
bang. A
And
hard
those
yes on
people, and those people who turn into zombies, is Gog and Magog?
that.
Is that the
It's
battle?
a yes, but a little bit more to it, but it's a yes. I think I'd mentioned this to you, Nadia. Is okay. Let's say we're at the mark of the beast. If that's the case, I'm going to ask: is the mark of the beast? Does that somehow desensitize people? In other words, their emotions or something, even though they willingly go for it, they're in control like a zombie, like you're saying.
Wow.
It's
Nadia, I got a yes to
There's
your.
more to it than that. Go ahead. What do you got, Jen?
Well, I was asking about the
Dennis
5G
also.
towers and the signals that they broadcast.
Mhm.
Like, is it a trigger? There's a frequency to
Yeah.
this. So I pulled the sun card. Absolutely yes. That's a definite yes. Which also tells me it's cosmic, that it will come from the cosmos, that it'll, or in the atmosphere. Let's just say that. The next one is the actual tower card, and look
Wow.
at like a label. You could look
Yeah,
at like
yeah.
the frequency of a tower.
Could you make your screen big on that, Jen? So
Sure.
just real quick.
Yeah. If you look at
Oh,
that's
wow.
the physical
Yeah.
tower. If the frequency does something, now
Wow.
it will steal people's truth, meaning if it activates something in your DNA, it is taking your free will because they will control you.
Yeah.
So it's a thief.
That's a little bit of a zombie-ish there, yeah.
That reminds me of, is the mark actually that?
Yeah. I've been asked that many
That's
times. I have
supposed to.
never actually pulled cards on it.
That's supposed to. They're supposed to do. Well, apparently, is what I've heard. They do something later on, and it kind of zombifies everybody that had it.
Yeah, it's a frequency thing.
Yeah, it feels like
Yeah.
that was
Like the
Ace of
5G
Cups.
towers.
it was like the first installment. If that makes
Yeah.
sense, Jen. Or
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to.
Yeah.
Soft yes, but the first of something.
Yeah.
Jen.
Rare. Yeah. Ace of Cups. So when Dennis asked if it was this thing, that's a definite yes. Because if you look at it's a cup card. So this is emotional, what it does to you inside, spiritually as well. Turns it off.
Could be the bull in Revelation too.
Well, I'm curious to know if this is a separation from the creator, because it messes with your DNA. It messes with everything.
Yeah.
It feels emotional also. Like every time Nadia mentioned that zombie, that really just resonated. Like zombie, not like but emotionless.
Emotionless.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like
They're not going to be eating
without
brains.
feeling like yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just you're not in control of yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. It is a form of death.
Ooh.
It is a form of death.
Spiritual death.
Wow, those dead in Christ.
Spiritual death.
Spiritual.
Wow,
Spiritual death.
Absolutely.
that's wild. I'm
There will
sorry, I
be
can't
many-
hold this anymore. I got to go
You're
potty.
fine.
Excuse me.
Many people, because this is a collective, and now it doesn't have to be us. It just means a group of people. So there is a category of those people that did that. So yeah.
I wonder if that's why they're holding off the EMS, just because they got to figure out what frequency to use.
Yeah. And now it was to my understanding that the negative stuff was all cleaned up.
Mhm.
So, and that
Most
we
of
wouldn't
it
have
is.
to worry about. Yeah, I don't know. So obviously they're still manipulating weather and doing all kinds of stuff. So who's to say?
Mhm.
Right. So I hope that answered your question, Nadia, about the towers and the frequency, because it was definite. What is next on? Now, the first trumpet, when they talk about Gaia and the vegetation being struck down,
Right.
can you say that that's already happened because of all the fires?
Oh yeah.
Well, over a third of the earth, though. I notice everything's in the thirds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Part of the trees. Well, Well, some of those fires were manipulated by a device because you ever seen some of those pictures after the fires? All the houses burned down, but the trees and the grass are still
Right,
standing.
right. Those are
Didn't
direct
notice.
energy weapons. Yeah.
Yeah, the direct energy weapons. So I guess that wouldn't qualify because this says that the vegetation is consumed of a third.
Well, of course. So you can be forced to eat the food that they give you. I mean, because when you say the Antichrist is coming and he promises food,
True.
so you can't grow your own food.
Right.
Well, I wonder if it's see. First angel saying that the hail and fire followed, mingled with blood, and they were thrown to the earth. Third of the trees. Hail and fire. I don't know. I'm still stuck on what that could be because I want to know if it's just symbolism or what.
Did you
But when
say
it's
hail and fire?
hail and fire, yeah.
I got something to add also.
Hail, fire mixed with blood.
See, that's why it keeps coming back, the brimstone, the sulfur.
I know, but I cannot figure out.
Let me just throw this in there while you're doing that. Okay. The third of life, Dennis, you were mentioning some of the governments of the world, specifically over in London, the lands, they've said they've studied the excess of deaths coincidentally.
Yeah.
What they haven't talked about is the lack of increase of life births. So wonder if this is a domino type thing over time, not like boom.
No. Actually, there is a movie. I don't know if it came out or not, but they totally disclosed all of this.
Is that one with John Cusack?
Yes.
Yes. What's the name of that?
2012?
No. It's after that. But they showed that when you are given that, it's not this generation, but the third generation will not be able to have children at all, period.
Oh, okay.
Well, one of the side effects is sterilization.
Yeah, but it's not going to be this generation. It's not going to be obviously linked to that.
Right.
Well, what if it is just the generation coming up? I mean, plus, if we look at these supposed spike meat, let's just say, spike meat, not.
Yeah. Not liquor.
Protein shakes. Okay. They're, what do they call that? Shedding. And even if you didn't, it's within you.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, maybe our frequency, the higher our frequency, the less this affects us. That's why they don't want us to go in.
Even if we chose not to take it, everybody, because of what's in our food, water, and air, we all carry the more gellins are in you. So now you can detox this.
Yes, you can detox this. Okay, even if you can't do it completely, what I'm getting at is just everything is distorted to, don't think for yourself. Television thinks for you. News thinks for you. Truthers think for you. This just like the movie They Live, it don't think, relax, go to sleep. But at the same time, the people that are thinking, the people that are going within, because they want you to do everything. They want you to be distracted. They don't want you going within. That's just it. I think when we raise our vibration, that is also a battle that supersedes either this signal, like Nadia's saying, or at least not as affecting is what they're telling me. Let me see if that's.
I also wanted to go ahead, Jen.
I was going to say they absolutely focus on different new ways they can distract you.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so also in England, and I think it's in Nigeria also, that you cannot purchase food with legal tender. You either have to, in Nigeria, use your QR code on your phone in order to pay, or in England, you get the inserted chip that you just get in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
what
you get
could go wrong, right?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Don't listen
Well,
to
there's
that
some people that put them in their
religious
temples.
shit.
Yeah, but on your hand, you can unlock your car door, your house, your vending machine. I've seen this in Sweden. They have many people in Sweden opting for this so they don't have to have change or, yeah, but nothing can go wrong because go against the government and see
Right.
how fast that chip gets shut
Well,
off.
if you remember smart meters, smart thermostats, smart lights, everything,
Yeah.
and you know, I have family that have their lights on this. In other words, oh, they dim their lights. Get up and put the dimmer.
Yeah,
No,
we've
it's on
gotten
my
lazy.
phone.
No, look, watch.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
Wi-Fi.
saying. I mean, okay, when we talk about doing the work, look at what people aren't doing, the laziness or the ease of technology.
Yeah.
So technology is the downfall of spirituality in my
Okay.
heart.
I
Well, you
don't
can
have.
look at Alexa, Siri, Google
Yeah.
Home, any of those things.
I don't have
Right.
any of those, and
Me
they
neither.
have people that download now a remote on here. There's Apple Pay, so everything is now limited to. And this is a very broken old phone, guys. That's how updated I am with
Well,
technology.
I just made an appointment with my dogs. You know that they're going through some stuff. You know, and right away they don't want to send me to a website. They want to send me to get an app and
Yeah.
do this online. No,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
old school. I want to go, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I
Mhm.
want to bring my dog in.
Yeah.
You know, and I have family
They're
that will
forcing
not talk to somebody on the phone. They want to
exactly
all do it through the web. Why?
just to let you know.
Why is this any different than someone on the phone? How is this any different?
How old
Because
my
we can
phone
see
is
you.
is because I refuse to not put old headphones in. They want you to use the wireless because
Right.
it goes across
Right.
your brain for
And
communication.
that's why I still have this phone, because I can put a wired headset in it.
Yeah,
The new
Yep.
ones you can't.
yeah, exactly.
I won't get a phone
Mine's that
without
way
that.
too.
All right, Dennis, I'm sorry.
What?
You were saying something and I rudely interrupted as usual.
Well, that's okay.
I thought I was Eve again. Go ahead.
I was being funny too, so I had forgotten about it. So already
Dennis, can you do
age.
your pendulum on that? I got a straight yes on the frequency that Nadia's talking about, and that thing that does it does somehow affect it. I mean, I got there it is right now. Straight yes again. Boom. Can you confirm what I just got there? As in a straight yes.
What was Nadia's question?
Does this signal that they send out, or the EBS or whatever, is that also part of like the mark of the beast? In other words, they send out a trigger, boom, you're a zombie, you know, or however.
Well, also now, I don't know in your areas, guys, but over here they had a letter that's so amazing. We're going to install smart water readers so we don't have people getting paid to read your meters. And it's let's shut off your water if you don't comply. I mean, everything is electronic just so they can shut it
Right.
off in a certain location.
No, they had talked about that in our area. Right now, they can read your meter. Okay, they pull up with their truck, it sends a signal. Okay, usage. There's no governor that stops the flow, and they have been talking recently about updating their system.
Yeah.
But yet, this update includes shutting off the flow. Okay,
Mhm.
so remotely shutting it off, not coming out manually, getting
And
the big
reading the
thing
meter,
that they
yeah.
stick in the ground and turning the water off.
Uh-huh.
And if you vote for that, you're an idiot. Okay,
Yeah.
just saying. But
Exactly.
it's like what Nadia's saying, that has come up recently. My wife brought it to my attention, you know, because I don't.
Think about how many jobs are lost as well.
Right. And that's just it. People think, oh, this is great. This is so great. That's when there are going to be more and more people dependent on the few that are left working. You know, I mean, if you can't do anything, what do you think they're going to do? You know, and yeah, they're going to create money out of thin air, but now they're going to want to just like your little your card that you use at the supermarket that gives you the discount.
Oh my
They
God.
know exactly what you're buying. Oh, it's
Mhm.
even though I'm paying cash, use the perks card or whatever they call them in your area. I got
Mhm.
this on sale because of this perks card. As soon as you ring that in, your whole thing is accumulated.
And where do you go? Where do you shop? I mean, there's credit cards that if you use our credit cards, we will give you cash back.
Yeah.
Well, okay, give me a few 1%, but take all my information of what I do.
Mhm.
It's people don't understand that. But sorry, we are really off of we're making judgment right now.
Well, no. We're not judging.
There
We're
we are.
pointing out. We're not telling people how to think. We're just saying about here's what we're seeing. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? We're not judging by any means.
Yeah.
It's just for me. It's one of those things where I mean, I'm spirit led. If these guys tell me this is what's happening, I don't go, nah, just rods. No, I follow that shit.
No, but it's
You know,
also your intuition. You would
right?
feel,
Exactly.
and how many people we have as listeners here, please do service to your community and inform them that electronics is not the best way to go.
Right.
Well,
I
it
mean,
doesn't
that's what
take
we have
away.
to use.
I do not go through a self serve checkout ever. The handful of times my wife talked me into it, always something went wrong. And I do all the shopping because I'm disabled. I'm retired. So I do the shopping. I wait in line. And even at Home Depot, they have self service and they have one person working for registers. And I'm like, they're like, I can help you down here with the self check. I'm like, no, I'm waiting for a real human. I can help you. No.
Yeah.
I want to. I mean, I'm paying enough money. I want a human to do this with me, bag my groceries or whatever. I help them bag, but what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, I want a person. And the lady was like, I can just run everything through for you. I said, do you understand you're taking the place of poor people now? I
Do
said, you
you,
think it's okay? I said, it's four
one of
jobs
the
that are
first
gone.
times that one of the first times a couple of years ago, it was one of the first times they really started pushing the self checkout. I asked one of the Walmart managers and I said, when do I get my W-2 at the end of the year?
Hmm.
Because I'm doing the work.
Right.
No, that's not what I'm paying to
Right.
do.
There's
That
no cost
they
savings.
pay me.
Yeah, there's no cost savings on our end. It just keeps going up. And then in certain, actually, I think in another 6 months, excuse me, in the county I live, if you want a bag at a grocery store, you're going to have to pay for it. In some
Yes.
places, you already do,
Chicago does
or
that.
you bring your own bag,
Hmm.
and then they're also already talking about, well, you can't use that bag. You have to use these bags, but we'll give you 5% off your first purchase.
Yeah, but
Again,
secret guys, use the produce bags. They don't
yeah,
charge you for that. If you ever need something
I
little.
like that.
Yeah. Chicago already started that many, many years ago. I think it's 7 cents a bag.
I mean, I get that that's insignificant, but at
It
the
is,
same
but
time, it's just the purpose.
and you're giving away your freedom. You're already paying.
Right.
It
Everything is
adds up,
included.
especially when you're buying enough food to feed an army like I
Right.
do.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
7 cents adds up.
But it's
But
not that.
yeah,
It's already added into the product.
right.
All of that is added into the product. And how does the government know how many bags were sold by that company? By
Right.
that
Well, and this does tie into Revelations in many cases. Control, these things to come, everything that. Look at the beast system. The control takes control of everything. We're letting it happen little by little, unless you individually go, no. I mean, I do that. This isn't like a truther thing or a 3D thing. I think there's a bigger picture to this.
Yeah.
Everything. Oh, technology makes your life easier. No, how?
Well, let's just use an old example. A frog does not know he's being cooked if they're slowly raising the temperature underneath
That's
them.
right.
Right. Exactly. 100%. Perfect example.
So they're just going to give you 7 cents here. Let's give you electronics. Let's make your home smart. I mean, who's to say the door's not going to lock so you're not allowed to go outside
Mhm.
during a next viral infection,
I like a dumb house, thank you.
I like
Yep.
dumb houses. Yes, I do. I do.
When I used to go to estate sales, no lie, the last few I went to, if I found an old mercury switch on the wall, I offered to buy that mercury switch for the furnace.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, look, let me get your number. I'll buy you a new digital one. I want that one. No, not really. We don't want to mess with it. I tried to get one of those old mercury switches.
Wow.
And if I have the opportunity, I will have one because there's no electronics to that mercury switch.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no outside influence. There's a signal when it's a weight. When the mercury is heated, this is what the temperature is in your house.
Well, I'll see what I
And
can
it
do,
balances.
Rocco. The majority of my family still use those to this day. So
I'll take one in a heartbeat. Because I mean that's a big brother thing for me.
Yeah.
And that's a 3D thing, and I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Right now I have one that is manual, that it has a digital readout. Well, I'm sorry, if there's a digital thing attached to it, there's some way to hack it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If there's a quote battery backup, there's a little chip in there that says something or does something that I don't like.
Well,
Mhm.
okay, I'll bring this into Revelations. It was mentioned about the cars, and we talked about the cars, Jay, before.
Mhm.
Like in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, they have a company who does the Waze directions. They know every part of our road more than we do.
Mm.
In Tel Aviv and Jerusalem knows every part of the road in U.S. But they also have a secret business who was bought by many other companies that your smart car, your chips on your car can make it speed up, lock the windows, close the windows, lock the doors from Tel Aviv.
Right.
So these smart cars are not real. And I don't like my mom's smart car. It tells me that I can't turn a lane until I put the signal on.
Right.
I'm like, it's 2 a.m. Nobody's here. But it holds me
don't
back.
believe that. Okay, now if anyone has had OnStar before, I think the name has changed.
Is it?
Like when I first bought my truck, I don't know. When I first bought my truck, that it had this OnStar thing. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't care less. Well, it's really nice if if you ever lock your keys in the car, you can just boop 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 and they'll unlock it for you.
Okay, so how am I bringing this back into Revelations? Is what if all these chips and everything break down, and we do have a war with spears and knives and battle in that way? Because going to Gog Magog in the Bible, it says 7 months, another 7, people will be burying their dead to cleanse the land.
Right.
And they will be burning weapons instead of trees for 7 years. That's
Right.
how much weapons, I would say, of wood. I'm not saying of buffalo dung like but it's like they're burning those weapons. Well, you can't burn a gun to warm yourself. So is all the electronics going to be shut off, and we're going to go back to that
Well,
way?
I mean, look at even guns had wood stocks, or still do, but but I understand what they're saying. I mean, you could actually take your ammunition apart and use the gunpowder to help burn.
To help
I
burn.
mean, similar thing, right? To help burn, to keep warm. You know what I mean? But again, I think there's so much of a tie-in with Revelations in just today's world, in just a number of paragraphs, that is too. If you can't see the connection, just from reading a few verses, it's hard for me to understand how you could not.
So if we go back to the old ways, thank God I was raised that way because I know how to survive. If everything gets shut off and they say, well, if they talk about this great amount of people that would die off, in your mind that there is a great generation, couple generations actually out there that would lay down and die if everything just turned off. They would just rather not survive because they don't know how to.
I think they would lay down and die if there was no Wi-Fi.
That's what I'm saying. If it gets shut off, it's like if the electricity goes off I have noticed
No
the littles.
phones.
I
No
can't.
phones. They would
Watch
die.
my show, and I'm
Yeah.
like, we're going to read books now. What? What are those?
What? What?
You mean I can't snap a picture of what I ate for lunch today? What?
Mhm. Yeah. Here's me eating. Yeah.
Um,
I
all
understand. But
right,
anyway,
there's
let's
another.
get back. But it does tie in. It's not really 3D stuff. It's very synchronistic. I mean,
Mhm.
if you can't see this, if you can't fathom this, I suggest you look a little bit harder. If it's hard for you to see what we're talking about, take a
Yeah.
real good look at just today, and like the ease of what you're doing, um, and go from there. Okay, we all take for granted a starter on our car or a button that unlocks and locks it. You mean
Yeah.
we can't push the button down? Do you know what I
Not
mean? But
me. We're still old school, and it takes two keys to operate, one for the door,
yes,
one for
I
the.
got the
yes,
keys.
exactly.
Window. I
But
saw a car with the
yeah,
window crank. Yeah.
and that's
There's
what
no
I'm saying.
button pushing with ours. We're old
Right.
school around
But
here.
that's what I'm saying. It's just one of those things. You know,
Well,
if you don't understand that or can remember those things,
Mm-hmm.
you know how just the controls that are in your life on this thing alone, and that screen that people have that they listen to, you know, on the wall,
mhm.
that it's nothing more. And everyone has said it, even the truthers. It is programming. I get it, but you don't see the programming in the day-to-day life on top of that. You
Yeah.
know, the oh, get the app, order online. If I won't get a pizza at a place where I can't talk to somebody,
Yeah.
or even food, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you have to. We ain't answering the phones anymore. You have to order online.
Well,
We
Jay,
just lost a customer.
I
Exactly.
seen they have little pop-up restaurants that you plug in and they will make a pizza in front of
Yeah.
you without a human
Well, just
interaction. You just put
just
your credit card.
take McDonald's. You can use your app. You pull up. You tell them you're here. They walk it out.
Yeah.
Well,
You
is it the
can't
lack of
the,
human
the drive-through. I'm
interaction?
just using McDonald's as anything, but the
Mhm.
drive-through. They've somehow it. Okay, we bought this pump for it's like it puts minerals back in. I can't remember the product. Anyway, it's a pump, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, my wife squirts it. It's got batteries in it.
Oh
You
my.
don't just
Oh,
sit
oh,
there and
oh,
pump.
that's the
It it's
weed killer
it's already got no. It's not a killer.
fertilizer.
Uh, it's some kind of it's the container, but it's like a natural product.
Okay.
Um, anyway, it helps with the soil, and it keeps
Like one of
away
those Miracle Grows sprayers or something.
something. But
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, my wife was like, "Here, I'm squeezing like a dumbass," and it's just she goes, and I realized it's got a battery in it. You mean to tell me you needed a battery because you couldn't sit there and go
Do you know how hard it is to?
like George Jetson? Oh my, George Jetson, my finger. Oh my finger. Remember his finger used to swell at George Jetson. But I mean,
Wow.
I'm thinking to myself, they actually this was a first for me. I kid you not.
Yeah.
They actually you don't just squirt it anymore. There's a battery so that you don't have to.
All right, I'm
More
going back.
Hard for
money.
me to fathom.
I'm going
More
back
money.
on track. I think.
Okay.
I think let's jump into the second trumpet when they talk about the seas. Do you know years ago I heard someone say that they thought when this happened it had something to do with World War II because it talks about a third of the ships were destroyed. Well, if you do the math, during World War II, a third of the ships were destroyed.
Mhm.
So I don't know how that would explain like a great mountain burning with fire. Does that represent Hiroshima, Nagasaki? Does
Right.
that is that what it is? Because that was a huge the mushroom clouds. It would look like a mountain.
Would look like a mountain, yeah.
Our Navy guy took off.
So and that but it talks about was thrown into the sea and a third of the sea became blood. Well, and if the living creatures died in the sea, it would be very, very toxic. But
I know.
if it's thrown into the sea, so if it comes from the heavens and comes down, it almost sounds like an asteroid type
Yeah.
thing. And it would come down because it was the size of a mountain. So if you think it hitting the sea would cause not only the toxicity to the water, killing animals,
Was
but if it caused a tidal wave or a tsunami, it would wipe out ships as well. So is that a possibility?
okay. Is that from Hopi or is that from the regular?
This is from the Bible on the
Bible.
second.
All right. Wasn't it in Florida? There was a bacteria that made the ocean red.
Well, they have red algae.
Yeah,
Yeah,
red
red
algae. Exactly.
Then.
Yeah.
And
Would
it does kill fish. I've never seen it so bad that it would kill a third of the living creatures. Maybe it would. But I'm trying, how would that tie in with the great mountain burning with fire and thrown into the sea?
The only other thing I could maybe mention here is the world is on this trying to reduce carbon. Okay, and even there's companies out there that the growers, they pump carbon into their greenhouses to help their plants grow. But what I'm getting at is okay, we want to reduce carbon. Great, everyone's all for it. Sounds all fine and dandy. Hey,
Yeah, I'm
but at
holding
some
my breath
point,
on that.
right? But at some point, if there's not enough carbon in the atmosphere, that also is an extinction level event. Okay, and the only thing that's going to replace that is gigantic volcanoes, that's going to put carbon back in to the atmosphere. But if we don't have enough carbon, that is also an extinction level event.
Well, is that why they're cutting down the Amazon trees?
Well, I mean, they're trying to
reduce
reduce you
carbon?
from having natural gas. Anything that comes out of the ground, they want you to have electrical. But I'm just saying they're on this thing of carbon footprint, reducing carbon, fossil fuels, all that shit. We actually need the carbon.
Well,
And the plants, that's food.
yeah, but Jay,
I
do you
grow.
also know? Do you know what a human is made of?
Yes, carbon.
Carbon.
I agree.
I believe that's the footprint they are trying to reduce.
I agree with that 100%. But the first thing that will affect us is the food. That's just it. It will affect it. It will come down to us. But again, I don't think people put that together. We breathe out carbon monoxide. The plants, that's food. That's their oxygen. They bring it in and kick out oxygen. It's a nice partnership. They want to control that.
So, another possibility on that second trumpet, we talked about the asteroid possibility. What about it being a volcano? If it's a great mountain burning with fire, could it be a volcano?
Right.
Volcanoes are very toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it goes into, it would have to be quite large and it would go into the sea.
But there are volcanoes in the sea.
Exactly.
Right.
So, what if there was a great eruption and that happened and it got so bad that, I mean, a third of the ships, I mean, you've got just normal everyday people out in ships, but are we talking about the military? Because they're the ones, the Navy fleets and things like that. So,
okay, so Dennis, you got something?
Well, I was curious as to what a third is. Is it a measurement? Or is it actually something symbolic of something? So I asked the pendulum if it was a measurement, or like a third of the grass is died out or burned up or whatever.
right.
If that was symbolic, and I got yes for symbolic. So I'm just trying to figure out what the symbology is.
The recipe for death.
I know there's like the 33 degrees in Masonic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Snyder.
Well, the when John was shown all of this, can you imagine trying to see this happening in 2,000 plus years later and having to describe what you're seeing when you don't
Right.
even know what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to put it in
So,
those terms. Well, are we also, isn't there supposed to be the Navy Marine thing that's happening in a couple days?
un, under, yeah, I think it started today. They're supposed to be on war time. Well, it's like war games.
Yeah,
War game.
around the world.
That's what they
But
call
we
it.
pulled cards. Yeah, but we pulled
We know
cards and
better.
said, no, it's a real thing. It's a mission. They're doing
Exactly, but
it.
is that the third of the ships?
Oh, this event that's going to
Could that third
happen?
be tied
Well,
into
it
that?
would change the outcome.
Check on that.
See.
Unless it's a third of the bad ships.
Well, I was going to say, we don't know whose ships they're talking about because we've got lots of different
Exactly.
militaries. Now, we've got one of the largest.
But I think
Let's see.
maybe it would get rid of the third of the.
I gotta know, but it's back and forth, so it's not a straight no. It kind of seems to have some relevance with it. I think could those ships be part that are going to be in this thing be part of the eventual third? I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But it was a no. But I
Can
can't
you,
think.
Jay? Can you ask whether or not a third is dealing with? Is it dealing with a measurement, or is it dealing with a symbolic, or symbology?
Hi, Snyder.
See, Schneider knows.
As far as the war games currently losing, that has nothing to do with it. You might hear about some loss, but nope, that's all an illusion. So what you're here is not what's going on. The good guys have the upper hand on this, so
Right.
I don't get anything. Wow, that's really good card. Divinely guided and protected. So this was doing it for the divine. So I don't think that this war games has to do with that. And we also talk about the third of ships as if they're in the water. What if it's the third of ships but they're off-worlder ships? Is that possible?
Why can't they be like spaceships?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I asked, I was getting just back and forth, kind of yeses, more to it. So what I asked instead is said, okay, is it a third of one's side of the ships that are destroyed? And then I got a yes. So it was a measurement, kinda. It was a symbolism, kinda. And then when I asked, okay, is it one's side, a third of their ships? And then I finally got a yes. So take that for what it is. Is that the good side or the bad side? I don't know. But
well, if you switch it and make it a cosmic sign, it would be, what if that great mountain is a star, like we talked about the asteroid possibility, but it causes such destruction when it hits the sea, but it changes something in the atmosphere, and they talk about a third of the ships up there coming down.
Or maybe they are looking at the stars as ships.
Right.
Because at some point we lose the stars in the sky.
Right.
Also.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just like the mental chess.
Yes.
Well, I do. But that's just it. I mean, we're just trying to, I didn't think about that. I mean, but that's just it. And we do this all the time. We bounce things off of each other all the time. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, yeah.
Well,
but yet again, we go, well, maybe.
It's kind of like trying to learn 5D chess with Trump.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if there's really a difference between the second and third trumpet, or they're like really back to back almost.
Yeah. The first four almost seem together. That's like they seem to be one woe gen, not three. I mean 4,
Mhm.
and 5, 6, and 7 are woes, each one.
Yeah,
That makes
because
sense.
when it says the seas are struck, and then the third trumpet on mine it says the waters are struck. What is the difference? The sea is
Oh.
water,
Excuse me.
but they split it. It's the third angel
Waters being like rivers or creeks,
true. A
Oh,
great
and seas being oceans.
and I don't know how your time is. We've been going an hour and 50 minutes. I'm just saying that to you. I got, like Dennis, I got another 5 hours in me. But
Okay.
I wanted you to know.
Can I?
That's all
I'll be
you
right
got?
back.
You know me and my curveballs, okay?
Okay. Do I need to listen to this curveball, or should I take care of the dogs?
This you might want to listen and then
Okay,
ponder
go
on
ahead.
it when you go. Could these trumpets happen on every time we renewed a revelation? So the first one, the second one, the third one is the floods of water, the ships of Anunnaki. So are we the seventh trumpet now?
Oh, I see what
I-
you're saying. Like the times that have happened, just
Yeah.
like the
Yeah, like-
nine times, or Hopi's 8 times. This has already happened. The 9th one's coming.
Well,
I see what
that's
you're saying.
that's a possibility because there was a cosmic war where there are signs of some of the downed spacecraft that are on the surface of the moon. So
Well, not only
maybe
that, I know I do this, but Anunnakis came down. Their ships came down.
right.
They went through
That's when
meteors.
you remember the war between Lemuria and Atlantis. This all tied in later to Tartaria as well. It was so destructive, and it was like asteroids, meteors coming down. What if it destroyed those ships? And that's already done and over with. And why do we keep looking at it?
Exactly. And then Atlantis going down, or Noah going down is the waters.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do that, what is the fourth trumpet?
The fourth angel sounded, and a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that the third of them were darkened, and a third of the day did not shine, and likewise the night. That's a whole lot to pick apart.
Yeah, I know.
And I looked, and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, "Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because of the remaining blasts of the trumpet of the 3 angels who are about to sound."
They told them to stop. Is that what whoa, whoa, whoa means?
It means you're screwed, basically.
Whoa, like that? Like Californian angels? Whoa.
Woo.
Dude. Or is it,
Eh,
whoa, stop. I think
They were surfing angels. That's what they were. All right.
Watch the
Yeah,
water.
that's a lot. So, but if you look at the sun as not a solid object, that it's a big ball of burning gas, how do you strike the sun? Does that mean part of it burns out?
eclipse.
Eclipse? Yeah, because it talks about each of them being darkened. A third of the day did not shine. So when we look up and we see the sun, well, we've recently seen it change colors. Instead of orange or yellow, now it's white.
Yeah. Well, what about saying they were the Dark Ages? The plague. The Black Death.
Well, you could go back to the third trumpet and talk about that too, because that caused death when everything got poisoned. Wormwood is well, I take wormwood, but it's a vitamin. It's a good thing. Wormwood means bitter.
Yeah.
So if it means poison and made everybody sick, could that have happened? And that was the Black Plague or somewhere around it? Or dysentery? There's lots of different things. Cholera. I mean, you could label it just about anything. But everything is about thirds. I agree. We keep looking at that. And is it symbolic? Is it a portion of something? On
Let's bring up the moon for a second here.
okay.
Okay. If we look at a ball Earth, if you will. Okay. And I'm sure people have seen this. The moon has been in the sky with the sun, but yet there's only a piece of the moon showing.
Right.
You can see that moon, that sun is shining on that moon, but yet there's only a sliver because the moon has a cycle. So this to me tells me we can't be living on a ball because there's no shadow. So so what you're saying to me is the moon is literally a slice and it's turning, and you can only see the slice because of if the sun's here and the moon's here and here we are on Earth, why isn't the moon lit up fully? So when we're talking about this third, okay, I see the deception in just that as far as a quote globe Earth goes. So okay, let's say a third of the sun goes away. Okay, is that going to affect us here on Earth? Obviously something, but is it may be part of this cycle? We start over, start anew, start over, start anew.
True.
It keeps bringing me back to the moon. The moon goes through its own cycles.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you know that our time frames have been changing so much. Does it mean that our days will be shortened?
And that is actually in the Bible, the days are shortened. So is that symbolic of the sun losing a third of the sun? Are we losing a third of the sun, or are we losing a third of the daylight?
I don't know if any of you guys heard it, but they said a long time ago there was no moon, and they brought in the moon.
It was drug in, is what they're telling us. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the moon that was created in the first place is no longer.
Was destroyed, so they drug this one in as a replacement.
This one that we have now supposedly is a more like a
docking station.
Yeah. And there are old tales. They're hard to find, but they're out there of two moons at one time were here. That is also listed. So you have to take that into consideration. One goes away, one replaces it.
Yeah, because isn't it on many planets they have multiple and we only have one?
Moons, yeah, depends on which one.
Well, that's what they
That's
say.
just what we've been told.
Yes.
So.
And our moon is the only moon that faces us. It doesn't rotate, so you know. Also, a little coincidence.
Oh, the dark side. We don't see the dark side?
No. Shocking. Bring back mooning. That's all I'm saying. Make mooning great again. Drive by mooning.
Supposedly, the dark side of the moon, the side that we don't ever get to see, is where the Dracos had control for a long time and ran the Matrix, basically, but it has been cleaned up.
I'm getting all moons in this solar system are all spaceships.
And wow. Okay.
That's what the pendulum says.
Wow. Satellite spaceships.
I got a pretty quick yes on that.
Wow.
It wasn't like boom automatic, but I got a yes for sure.
So there was one time
it likes the term ship more than spaceship. Ship.
One third of the ships.
Yeah, 1/3 of the ships. Wow.
Yeah, spaceship not so much. Ship, yes.
Well, we kept using the term when they talk about the sea. And we were told that the firmament is made of water. What if that was?
Well, and speaking of sea, it's also symbolic in Revelation that the sea is mankind, as I understand it.
But you're also they use the term a sea of people.
Yeah.
But was John up above us looking down? That would explain the firmament. Yeah.
He was, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
So if the firmament is water, maybe that's what he was seeing, not our oceans here. And remember, we have oceans under the oceans.
Right.
Yes.
And it goes back to Genesis, the foundations of the earth. Again, before beginning before. Um, okay, if the firmament is truly there, people wonder, oh, what's it matter, flat Earth, round Earth, everything. But if the firmament is actually there, that means there's a God, and there was something to this. That scares a lot of people, regardless, because it changes not just the belief system, but now it really, for those that are like, oh hey, it is real. Then that encourages the belief system. But everything wants us to go away from religion, being with yourself, going inside. When in fact in the holy books, when they mention a church, I don't see a church. I see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when they say, well,
Right. I see me, not
clean your
some
temple.
building,
Yeah.
your temple.
Your
I mean,
temple.
I think there's a lot of truth for that.
Yeah.
When it says the church will be, quote, raptured. If you ever noticed, Jesus didn't have a church, Yeshua, but yet he said Peter would be the rock upon which he would build his church. In other words, his belief. We can't look at it as necessarily a physical thing. So anytime I hear church or whatever, synagogue or anything like that, I see this. Most people envision a building.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's perspective and perception.
I've been in the brick building churches, but nothing compares to walking out and Gaia is your church.
Yep,
And
exactly.
sitting under a tree and just being with spirit.
My garden is sacred to me, if that makes sense. It's just a place where it's so. I'm giving them something, they're giving me something. There is such an exchange of energy, like just like our round tables. But when even when I'm down there and I'm watering, even when I'm like kind of short on time, I get lost down there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, okay, and wow, that was 40 minutes. What happened?
Yeah.
I get lost down there.
Well,
And
just to
that's a form of church, if you will.
give proof of energy exchange. If anybody goes out and looks right above the tree line, you will see a very light energy, and that's the tree's prana. Just in case anybody would like to look outside and say, "Oh yeah, they also have energy," and that's the exchange we give with them or get with them.
Exactly.
All things that you see are all life. They all have a life.
Yeah,
I did not hear, Jen. How are you on time? I'm sorry I walked away when I asked that.
Oh,
I still got another 4 hours.
I bet you do.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Did
you hear that?
What? A trumpet?
It was a trumpet. Came out of one of their butts. I'm serious. I can't believe you did not hear that.
Yeah, Jen, I think we're good to
that
stop
would be
here.
the 8th trumpet, I believe.
It hasn't hit yet. I'll let you know.
That is part
my
of the
face can't hide the reaction.
A third of
whoa,
Jay's
whoa.
room is affected.
Oh, that was a whoa.
That's the poison of the wormwood right there. All
Yeah,
right.
I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah, we'll stop.
It was so sick. He lifts himself up and looks at me, and it's just going.
and says in that Steve Urkel voice, "Did I do that?"
Thank you so much for that.
Well, we will. We did. We always go all over the place, but I think dealing with the first 3 trumpets. Well, I'll try to dig a little bit more into, I guess, just using the terms ships, asking spirit different things, but have these things happened already? That kind of stuff. We'll continue with trumpets if you want to next week or Friday. It doesn't matter to me.
One of the things I want to know.
Like to interact with the chat room on Friday.
One of the things I want to know is, which I feel about deep diving a little bit, what part of this is deception? Okay, anytime man's involved with anything,
Yeah.
it's going to be distorted. It's going to be, and we already know that some of the holy books are. I mean, let's just face it. Everything's if man touches it, it's wrong. It's tainted.
You're right. You're right.
So
Yeah.
my and that's where I think discernment comes in here. And I asked Dennis on his pendulum show the other day: is discernment, true discernment, the ultimate form of enlightenment? And he got a yes. And
Okay.
so, what do we feel? We can talk about these things, but at some point we have to start really going down. Okay, what is real? What is this? We got to funnel it down to we're throwing questions out there and then we just kind of chip away at them. So my question
Well,
is what part of this is deception? Because I feel not only going in, if we go into the last days, even though there's a lot of truth within there, the deception aspect of it is what we don't know, what is true and what
well,
is
we've
not.
also talked about years ago to us, Revelation was all doom and gloom, and this is going to be horrible. But if we've switched it, changed it up, changed timelines, how would you look at these things happening in a positive outlook?
Right,
Is this
right,
what's happening to the enemy, not us?
right.
So we think about the sneeze people. I'll say cabal. I don't
Bless you.
care. But it's look how much control they have, like with human trafficking and things with ships
Right.
and those being destroyed. If you just twist it and think, well, maybe this is happening to them. We're destroying what they've been doing. And if another thing that we look at, we are slaves under a maritime law system. So if you think that if we're ships or in maritime law, maybe a ship is not a ship.
Mm-hmm.
If it's people, it's just a way of looking at it.
Right, right.
You mean
Cattle,
citizenship?
cargo, etc.
Citizenship.
Well, would it fluctuate throughout the book of Revelation as to what it means? Like in one part it'd be a spaceship or ship,
Right.
in another part it might mean the sea of humanity, or
Right.
a regular sea. I don't know.
And
Yeah.
I just want to re-mention this from last time. Remember that Revelations is a book that is not in order. It's one of
Right.
the few books in the Bible that are not in order. Not saying that they didn't just jumble it around. I don't know if they pulled things in and out, but they obviously jumbled it around. Now, granted, we take it as a vision, but at the same time, it is not in order.
Right.
Everything with anything related to with God it's got an order, it's got a number system, it's got something that is too undeniable.
Right.
Revelations, no, it's all over the place. Again, how do we determine what is what? And that's the only that's the thing that bothers me about Revelations is that mainly that it's not chronological. Now you can go and find places where it puts it in chronological order. It does seem to make sense. However, just like okay, the prophets, if you will, one of the things I noticed going through Revelations is in the holy books is leading up to Yeshua or Jesus coming, there were prophets, there were a certain amount of prophets that came. The last prophet that we can kind of count right now is Muhammad, regardless of religion. Okay.
Right.
But what changed? Okay. Moses was 1600 years before the coming of Jesus. Elijah was 800 years before the coming of Jesus. John the Baptist was at the time of Jesus, 800 years later. Muhammad doesn't come 800 years later. He comes 500 and some change. But yet maybe they're not saying that these are prophets, if you will. I'm just saying there's Old Testament, New Testament. There was an order leading up to it.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, math changed.
Yeah.
What happened? Or they just don't want to say that this is a prophet or this person was a prophet.
Sure.
Because I don't believe anybody that says they get prophetic words. Just like when we do our rods and tarot and everything like that, we get a little piece of Yeshua, or like our angels, we get a little piece of them. Yeshua's everywhere. We get a little piece of that power when we bring them in.
Fractions
Right.
of that energy.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, is God talking to some people? Possibly. It can't be more than a few. But is people or is Jesus talking to people? I'm sure. I don't think he's sitting down having coffee, having a conversation in your house.
Should I show you? Hold on. No.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be
But
fun?
what I'm getting at is I know we get a little piece of that divinity. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just a small amount. I don't. I have a hard time when I hear people say, and it's not that I haven't. It's not that I don't doubt it because I haven't experienced it. I just understand the power. I mean, just
Mm-hmm.
that little taste that we get from connecting with the rods, connecting with the tarot, connecting with the
Yeah.
pendulum. Now imagine this massive powerhouse of energy right next to you. My
Yeah.
God, I don't, in just like it says in the Bible, I couldn't stand, I couldn't see, I have a hard time when people say that. So, and I don't mean to down them. I'm just saying I
Mm-hmm.
use my discernment and I go, what's going on here? And, it's just one of those things where I want people to be aware of. Like I'll mention it. I bring Yeshua in.
Mm-hmm.
I bring in my angels in. I get a little piece of them because guess what? Nadia's calling them in. Jane Doe's calling him in. So and so's calling him in.
We're just
They're
having coffee.
everywhere.
We're just having coffee.
Yes. But you know what I'm saying? I just want people to realize we're looking at revelations, we're talking about divinity. We get a little glimpse of this, just like we're getting a little glimpse of the truth right now.
Yeah.
The and where does discernment fall within all of this? That's my big thing. I desperately want to
Right.
know the truth. I desperately do.
Well, that's what we're doing.
I
And
think at this point right now where we are depends on how strong are you looking or feeling your intuition along
yeah.
with
Faith.
the tools that you are divinely given.
Right.
And
True.
also know that you are worthy. What if you're blocking it because you feel you're not worthy enough to get that power or energy?
Hmm. Guilty. I've
True.
Right.
been
Yeah. When your
happened to me.
ego gets in the way, it's a great blockage.
Yeah. And humble. The humble ego is what killed
Humble.
me.
Exactly.
The
Exactly. That's
humble
right.
ego was like, I'm just a guy from Pittsburgh. That's
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, I think humbleness is very, very important.
Mm.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. All right.
I love you
Well,
guys.
we'll put a pin in this and we'll pick it back up. As always, Friday night, you're more than welcome to
Oh,
join me. Talk to the
stigmata.
chat, and if you want, I'll send you the link, and if you don't, that's okay too. But definitely next Wednesday, Roundtable 4, and we'll just keep going.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
You
gonna
guys
do the
are
same
okay
amount
with
of
that?
trumpets, I think.
Or hey, we haven't
Yeah.
even touched bowls. We haven't even gone to the bowls yet. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah, I know.
And
That the wrath of the
we
creator.
mentioned the abyss or the bottomless pit, but we didn't get into that either. I mean, we talked
Well,
about it.
Well,
we
I don't want
will.
to get into that.
That's coming up.
I'd rather
so.
stay out of that.
Well, yeah, not physically, Dennis. We're not going down there on a
Yeah.
field trip, okay?
I've been
Oh,
there.
All
thank,
right.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. Love and light, guys.
Thanks, guys. Love you guys.
Love you all.
Love you.
All
And
right,
I'm going
love
to do
you
your
all.
oracle.
Okay.
Always.
Love you, love you.
I'm gonna go. I actually got to put the medicine on and stuff. So thank you guys. Love
Go
you.
for it. Thank you. Love you.
Yeah, I'm
Doing.
having problems with the computer anyway. So
Oh, no. All right. All right. Let's put this up. Nadia's just spinning her wheels there. Are you stuck, Nadia? She's between dimensions again. All right. Let's do your oracles, guys, and I'll let you go. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. And I know some of you had questions today. Sorry about the screaming child. I don't know why he's screaming. It's one reason I will go. You guys have been great. Thank you for great energy. You guys are wonderful. Some of you did have questions. Just bring them Friday. because that's what we're going to do. At least that's what I'm going to do. If they want to join, they're more than welcome. I send them the link and they show up if they want. Let's get down to your oracles, and I'll let you go enjoy the rest of your beautiful Wednesday. At least I hope it is beautiful for you. And get down to it. I'm getting all tangled up here. All right. Let's start. Pulled these earlier. Haven't really studied them. We're about to find out. Interesting. Angel of Abundance. Today is block out distractions. Wow. Your life purpose and other priorities need your undivided attention. So it's time for you to take charge of your schedule and working environment by turning off electronics and avoiding anyone or anything that distracts you from what's important. You already know what these distractions are, and you have the power to responsibly block them out. Well, it is definitely, it can be a challenge, especially after we just had this conversation today about technology and the advancements and almost how lazy humanity is getting because we are too dependent on it. Okay? So that's amazing that that came in there today. Now, I'm not saying that you have to put them down all the time. Follow your gut and spirit, and what do you need to do for yourself individually. But believe me, I lay my phone down and I don't pick it up unless it's got great intention. It's, of course, if I have an appointment or something and I need my phone. But yeah, it's a part of it. All right, let's find out who our archangel is today. This is beautiful. Archangel Hope. Look for a cosmic gift. Remember that you deserve it. Well, thank you, Spirit. All right. This one says, this card brings the promise of a reward or gift from the universe. This may be something tangible or the easing of a situation, a new friendship, love, or success. It may even come in the form of an unexpected opportunity or something your heart has long desired. Archangel Hope is bringing forward the fresh and unexpected for you. Beautiful. And that's what we need to have is hope. All right. We don't know doom and gloom. We have hope. All right. Next, we have our Sacred Forest Oracle. And today, this is an oldie but goodie. We've had this one before. Daffodil Fairy, which brings new beginnings. Love it. Spirit of the Daffodil Fairy says, it's time to start a new project or a new cycle. Life force and vitality are emerging. Release that which doesn't serve and support you. Make way for a new start. Success is at hand. Are you starting to see a pattern here? There's no winky dinks when I shuffle and Spirit says, these are the cards you need today. And there's no coincidence if you get repeats on these cards. Okay, especially in our chakra oracles today. Quite a few repeats. We've had a lot of this recently. We've had this card multiple times recently, and it's about joy. Okay, and I'll read it. Maybe we have new people who've never heard the definition before. If you already know what it is, please be patient with us. This vibrational energy is walking on air. A pure essence of joy comes through the detachment. Daisy Yellow brings joy but does not experience it. Its purpose is to radiate what is inside. This powerful energy moves your projects forward. It is to detach, to be creative, but will draw in assistance necessary to further your goals. All right, so that's joy. The second one that we got today, we've had this one recently too, is guilt. What do they say about guilt? This card indicates deep caring and protection from emotional hurt through standing strong in your emotions. There is great inner resolve here. Once your mind is made up, you can see when others have tried to manipulate you. Reclaim your life. Don't let someone use you. All right. The next one. Well, this is your final one. I don't know how long it's been since we had this one. Vanity. All right, let's see what it says about vanity. The tenacious balance between what is true in our heart and what we communicate is reflected in the color, the aqua, the color of the card. Are you living and communicating your truth or just playing along? This may be a time of awakening to a new new way of being. Be aware of distractions that may pull you away from the true you. So we've talked a lot about distractions today. Spirit is throwing all kinds of hints at us, and they all are related to each other. I shuffle and shuffle and shuffle and ask Spirit which cards they want me to review, and I love their themes, and the energy stays there. That's confirmation to me from Spirit that these messages are important. All right, guys, that's your oracles. Thank you for joining this beautiful roundtable today. You're beautiful. I love you. I love you. Love and lights when you need it. Friday night, 7 p.m. Bring your questions. Absolutely bring your questions. And we'll see you then if you need me. Everything's in the description box. Just give me a holler. I'm working on the P.O. box thing. I've never heard of a post office not having a P.O. box available, but I'm working on it. All right. Thank you, beautiful guests, roundtable, and everyone in the chat. I love you, and I'll see you Friday night. Okay? Love you. Bye-bye. Blessings, blessings.